Eric Mwade here. In this educational video, we're going to go back to the idea of uniformity, which is what happens whenever you see the moving averages of the MACD move above or below the zero line. So basically, uniform action across the zero line is either going to be giving you a buy signal or a sell signal. So in this example here, I'm showing different types of uniformity action. You got your U-type formation above or below the line. You got the same kind of formation here. Also, you got the inverted V or a V-type formation, like in this particular instance, up and below, down and above the zero line. Or you got another form of a uniform action, which is this type of an M in this particular instance, above the line, back below it, back above it, and then eventually back below the zero line here. Also, you have another one which is more like a saucer type formation, which is more broadly based U-type formation here. So below the line and then eventually back above it. In each particular instance, like in this particular instance, that was a sell signal back below the line. That was a buy signal here, sell signal here, buy signal here because you recapture the zero line. And I'm going to show you an example, so don't worry about that. And then in this particular instance, that was a sell because you went above the line, below, back above it, and then eventually cracked back below it. In this particular instance, this would be a buy signal, and I'll show you this in a short period here. So you can use the MACD. The reason why this works, I believe, is because the uniform action has something to do with messing up with the psychology of investors. Just the way that stock trades whenever this action is taking place is confusing to everybody. So let's go to a very particular stock, and I'm going to show you some interesting observation. Now, this is Apple here. This is a daily chart going back 1.5 years. So that's the high right there of about 680. I want to show you something very interesting. Take a look at this action here. You went above zero. So this is a zero line. Now, on my charts, you're going to see that I used two MACD settings. I use this setting here or this setting here. And I use that so that just to have a better clarification for what's going on. So let me show you what was going on. So that's the zero line. Again, this is a zero line on the MACD. Take note of this action here. We went above zero and back below it. That's uniform action. You see that uniform action? So this becomes a sell here. That was a very nice sell signal for Apple there. We would do the same thing again here. We went above it and back below it, uniform action. So that was a sell signal here, which was this high here. There was another inverted type formation here, a V type. So that was uniform sell signal here, another sell signal there. Another V type formation, inverted V, sell signal here because it's uniform, or not the best uniform, but it is uniform. Take a look at that sell signal there. There was another uniform action. You can look at this. Looks like that type of action. Sell signal here, which is this sell signal. And again, we went through the same progression. Went up, back below it, sell signal here, which is this sell signal here, and another sell signal with this formation here. Hope you can see that. Uniform action above that line, back below it. So that was a sell signal there, which is a sell signal here. So now what is really interesting and what we can really understand that why this method works. Now take a look at this following example. Here we went above the zero line here. We were about to go back below zero like we've been doing before over the last year or so. But this particular instance here, the MACD stopped to go below zero. So that's a change in the sentiment, and that was an ideal entry point here. So this was an entry point because for the first time in a long time, the MACD did not go below zero. In fact, it bounced off the zero line and was trending higher. So this becomes a nice entry point. And what's really interesting here, for the first time, you see that also this MACD, the main MACD setting here, moved above zero. So there was this support at the zero line for the first time in a long time. The previous signals were all sell signals here, sell signals here. But this time, let me remove all that. For the first time here, We did not move below zero, so there was no uniform activity. The market was behaving differently. That would have told you that the market was trying to change its direction now and head higher. And that was actually a very nice entry point here, because ever since then, the market has never traded below those levels. And also I stated that this was moving back above the zero line, making this a change in sentiment. Now let's test this uniformity idea on a major world market. So we're taking a look at the Dow Jones weekly chart, and let's get to it. So we see here that we have this action that went below zero and back above it. That's a V-type formation, so the buy signal was here. So somewhere around here, the market was telling us it was moving higher. That was correct signal. We see another uniform action here, back above it. Uniform action below it, back above it. So this was a buy signal here, which happened to be this nice entry point around here, and the market had a nice run. We see another touch of this zero line, which is another form of uniformity, because you didn't go below zero, you touch zero, bounced off it. So this happens to be a nice entry point again. Market had a nice run. You see another uniformity action here, back above this line. So here is a buy signal in September, which is here. The market would come tag below zero and immediately bounce off that level. That's uniform action. So this here was another buy signal. So we can see that when we look at the Dow from a weekly standpoint, the uniformity principle is also helpful in identifying situations where the market is telling us whether it wants to continue with a move or what's going on. I also have to note that you can see that in each instant in this chart, we have crossover here, which is above zero. Crossovers above zero are powerful. Notice that this was a nice entry point around here. The market had a nice run. You have another crossover here. You never went below zero on the main MACD. So that was another buy signal, which is this level here for a very nice move. And you recently had another crossover here above zero, which is pushing the market to all-time highs. So that seems to confirm that the uniformity, as far as the MACD is confirmed, is actually accurate. So what I want to do is let's go to the daily for the same instrument, the Dow Jones. And now we are looking at a 1 year daily. Without making it too laborious, let's just go through this process quickly here. You got uniformity here, which is this entry point here. You get, I wouldn't say this is a very good uniformity here, because it's not very uniform, but you can argue it is because it's above. Oops, let me show that. You see, we went clear that off. You can see here, not the best. So I would say that was not uniformity. We want to make sure we are getting things right. But there was uniformity here, which happens to be this entry point on the daily. There was uniformity in this particular period here. So which means that the entry point was here, which is this level here for a very nice move. Now, depending on how you want to look at it, you can say this is also uniform here. Or you can say it's not, either way. But if you assume it is uniform, this was a nice entry point here, which happens to be this entry point here for a nice move to all-time highs there. So that's all the uniformity I see. But now let's go to the main MACD setting, and you see there was uniformity here, which is this level here for a nice bounce. Once the market went above zero here is when you buy signal here, which is this level here. There was another uniformity action, as you can see here. It is very uniform. It's a U-type formation. There's a signal here to go along, which is this level here. There's another uniform action here, which is a V-type formation. Entry point here, which is this level here. And each instant we see that using the uniformity, the market tells you when it is best to go back into the market for a move higher. And it seems to work without too much complication. So using the MACD to tell you when uniform action is taking place can help you identify trades or situations where you should go long or go short a stock. Eric Moade, good luck, peace, and blessings. Woo!